Good old JR, dun, 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 dun. Oklahoma's favourite child, Jim Ross. He might be the greatest commentator of all time, but I believe his days at the commentary desk could be up. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling with an update here on not only Jim Ross's health, but a potential return to commentary. And will he even return to commentary? And at the age of 71 years old, is Jim Ross past it? It's a sad thing to say, because this guy is undoubtedly the greatest commentator, in my opinion at least, of all time. Whether you're talking announcer or whether you're talking play-by-play, colour, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what way you want to split the commentary team up into. I mean, JR for me is untouchable, and of course there's other people over the years that I've loved. I think Lawler's probably the best colour commentator. When you look at play-by-play commentators, I thought Joey Styles was fantastic. Michael Cole, not so much. But I think at periods, I think Michael Cole, I will say Michael Cole is underrated. I think people give him a lot of crap. He's nowhere near Jim Ross, let's be honest, but nobody is. In terms of play-by-play commentators, though, I would maybe put Michael Cole forward. I do think Michael Cole done a good job. Even in TNA, I think Mike Tenay worked well with Taz and with Don West, probably more with Don West, to be honest. But yeah, there's been a lot of good commentators over the years, but Jim Ross has been the best, there's no doubt about that. However, I just don't think he's got it anymore. Obviously, he was supposed to be part of the AEW Collision team, but unfortunately, he had a fall that day. He probably should not have been sent out. However, he was sent out, and it was pretty embarrassing. And you could tell pretty much straight away that Jim Ross wasn't himself, and his voice was all off, and he just didn't sound too good. It was a bad sound for the commentary team, especially on the debut show. And I was really looking forward to see Jim Ross, or at least hearing Jim Ross on AEW Collision, but health is more important, and Jim Ross was on his podcast and he gave an update on his health. Now, it was pretty lengthy, so I'm not going to read it all, but we'll read the final little paragraph where he talks about a return date and stuff like that. So, Jim Ross said the following, and I quote, "But as far as going back on the road, I don't have a return date. Tony Khan's been very nice as far. Take all the time you need, and if you want to take several weeks off or the summer off or whatever you'd like to do, just get healthy. So I appreciate the fact that he's been patient with me and that he is encouraging my good health, because that's really the main thing. It gives us all an eye-opener. There's nothing more important than our health, and so many times we take it for granted. I have for years. So I'm going to be a little bit more aware of my health, and I'm going to be a little bit more aware of how I take care of myself. But in the meantime, I've been here at home. I was always scheduled to come in and do the main event, but by the time I got there, my damn voice was shot to hell. I don't understand exactly why. I talked to the doctors. They said it could have just been the stress of your injury, your body reacting to what it was feeling. I shouldn't have gone out there with a concussion. I should have not gone out there with my head splitting," end of quote. So, a couple of things we need to talk about here. First of all, why was this guy allowed to go out? Now, you can claim that he doesn't wrestle, he's not performing physically in the ring, so he's not at risk of putting himself or another wrestler in a difficult or dangerous position, but still, this guy was sent out to do commentary and he had a concussion. It's still unprofessional, and it still should not have been allowed to happen. Jim Ross should not have been sent out there that night. As far as going back on the road, he's not gave a proper date. He's not gave an exact date. I think it's 71 years old. I think Jim Ross, I think he's done. As a full-time announcer, I think he's done. Can he do the odd appearance? Maybe. Can he do maybe the odd match? Maybe. But as a guy that's supposed to carry the show, announce the show, commentate on the show for 2 hours, I just don't think Jim Ross has that anymore. I really don't. I think when he first joined AEW, it wasn't the Jim Ross that we were used to. It really wasn't. And I think you can see there's a big difference between Jim Ross in 2019 and Jim Ross in 2023. I think since he's been on TV, since he joined AEW, we have seen the decline in real time. And it is sad. It really is sad. But I think Jim Ross has declined. And I just don't think there's anything left for Jim Ross to do. Commentator, I think you need to be on the ball. You need to have your wits about you. You need to be 100% alert. And I just don't know if Jim Ross is the guy now to call shows. Can he come in and do the odd match? Absolutely. But can he be the lead man of a commentary team for 2 hours? I do not think so. And it's sad. Look, he will always be the greatest commentator. No one is denying that. Everybody needs to move on though. Maybe Jim Ross needs to be that person. And who knows, maybe he could get a job backstage. I'm sure there's other things he can do. I just don't think him being on TV, being the voice of a TV show for 2 hours, I don't think that's the right move for Jim Ross or for AEW, or if he wanted to come back to WWE. I just don't think it's the right move. So yeah, Jim Ross, it's a shame how his career is kind of, well, I think it's a shame. He personally might have enjoyed it. I would have liked to have seen Jim Ross stay in the WWE and, you know, call some really big matches. Like I said, you could have had just Jim Ross come out maybe for some big pay-per-views and call the big matches, but he decided to go to AEW. WWE weren't really using him properly as well, so I can't really blame Jim Ross. Look, he wanted to go on the road. He wanted to be out there full time. And fair play to Tony Khan. Tony Khan has provided that. AEW has provided that. So, yeah, don't blame AEW for getting him, and I don't blame Jim Ross for going, but I don't think this AEW run has been that great, to be honest. It's not how I will remember JR. So let me know, guys, what you think down below. Do you think JR's time is done? I just think with his health and his age, I don't think it's worth it. I think Jim Ross should retire. He's had a great career in wrestling. He's nothing left to prove. If I was him, I would walk away. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you in the next one. And of course, until next time, peace.